Herzlich willkommen zu einem neuen Video auf meinem Kanal. Heute habe ich eine ganz, ganz spannende Interviewpartnerin, eine ganz besondere liebe Person, und zwar die Philippa aus Portugal. Und Philippa channelt schon längere Zeit eine außerirdische Dame, eine weibliche Person, wenn man das so sagen darf, von der Yahyel-Rasse. Und ihr Name ist Hylah. Und ja, und ich finde das total spannend. Sie macht das richtig großartig. Und sie hat auch einen eigenen YouTube-Kanal, den ich unten natürlich auch verlinken werde. Und jetzt werde ich einfach mal beginnen. Mein Englisch ist nicht so wahnsinnig gut, aber ich hoffe, ihr könnt uns alle folgen. Ja. Hello, Philippa.
Hello.
Welcome. And thank you for the possibility to do this interview with you. And yes.
Thank you too for inviting me.
Yes, maybe you want to tell us a little bit about how you get in contact with Hylah.
Yes. So, from what I understand, it's a long story because this, in a sense, started when I was a child. I think it was always happening in some way. Yes, I was almost trained to do this in the sense. Because yes, although I didn't realize it, well, since I was a child, I was very sensitive, and you could say that everyone around me wasn't that sensitive, and so I learned to, in a sense, shield that and to block that from myself. But one thing that I couldn't stop doing was always, for example, one of my biggest passions is to draw. And that I couldn't exactly stop doing. And so I always knew, almost by instinct, that I had to do the things that really excite me. And that, in a sense, was the training in itself. Because when I was doing that, I was connecting with those higher realms, in a sense, and I didn't realize it. So then a few years passed. I did some therapy to open myself up again and to have more connection to my sensitive side. And I think it was that was the first stepping stone to this part, to this new phase of my life, because it was 2 years after that, probably, that I started to see some videos about spirit channeling that just popped up in my YouTube feed. And I started to get really interested in it, because not exactly the spirit channeling, but the information that was coming through, because I felt that I knew that in some way. It wasn't new information, almost. It really resonated. But I really wasn't interested because I often saw people asking, so how can I channel myself and do what you're doing and everything? And I thought, that really doesn't interest me at all, because I like to hear the information that comes through them. I wouldn't like to do that myself. So it was a bit of a twist in destiny there. But well, I would say that was the second stepping stone. I got introduced to other channelers, and the third one was in 2014 here in Portugal. I saw a UFO sighting here in Cascais, above a train station. I saw 3 lights in a triangle shape, and Yes, and they started moving by each other, and I now know that the way they moved was a message in itself. So all the points in the triangle became one in a sense. So they were three, and you can imagine point A went to point B and merged, and then point B went to point C and merged, and so after that I got even more curious. Well, when I saw that, and I really liked hearing about ETs and alien stuff and interstellar things. But when you see something like that, it's like your logical mind gets a little, you never really expect to see it. You know, even if you really believe it, you never expected to see it in front of you. So I tried to think of a million ways that why that couldn't be a space. But even the location was really near the ocean, so there wasn't anything there that could explain that. And so I continued my research in a sense, and into those topics. I had some other few events that happened also, like one event was, I don't know if you know that, but it's called angel hair. Like it's like some filaments fall from the sky. It happened a few times here in Portugal that I know, and sometimes around the world also. And it's related to also extraterrestrial activity. They think those filaments fall from the crafts.
Ah,
Yes.
I've never heard before.
Yes, I think it's called angel hair.
Angel
From what
hair.
yes, and I knew what it was when I saw it. It was 2 months after the UFO sighting. Oh, no, before. It was before the UFO sighting. And I was working. I used to work as a nurse, so I was leaving a building then, and I saw that those filaments were falling from the sky, and they were really all around the town, and they were very particular because when you touch them, they disappear, they evaporate.
Ah, and
It's
how
like
then
webs.
like a hair or something?
Yes, it's like a spider web, but more sticky.
Ah, yes, okay, okay.
Yes.
And
And when
nobody
you
knows.
touch it, it disappears. Yes, everybody was noticing because they were getting stuck in their hair and everything.
Ah,
Yes, and
ah,
I think they tried to analyze it. And although I remember the first I knew what it was because I saw it in a documentary on TV and on the Discovery Channel or something like that. And it talked about that happening here also in Portugal, in Évora. It's a little far away from here. That same event, and they analyzed it then, and they saw there was some kind of microorganism there.
ah, uh-huh.
Yes, that they couldn't really identify, but so I started to I'm so this was in a sense related. I could later realize,
Yes.
but yes, so that was the third stepping stone.
Okay.
After that, the fourth and last one, I decided to try a channeling session myself. So me asking questions to a channeler. It was Viteka Kulhoff. She also channels a Yahyel being called Arjun. And I really resonated with her, and so I decided to make an appointment with her, a session. And we talked about all of those strange events I had in my life, and it was really fun. It wasn't that I didn't receive any mind-blowing information there. But what I noticed was that the energy that I felt during the channeling was really present in me, and I couldn't really shake it off, you could say.
Yes.
I knew in a sense, it wasn't only that exact day, but from that date forward, the next week or so, I started having also really vivid dreams that was like I was being again trained to channel during my sleep. And I started having these weird messages, in a sense, saying like you could do that too if you wanted to. And I decided to, well, try it and to follow those hints in my head. And so I started meditating. And what I noticed while I was meditating was that I would get some hints doing try to focus, like, and imagine that you are floating in a big lake, and the lake is bright pink and it's filled with love. And then I would get these images in my head, like someone coming through the lake and starting to pull me really softly, and I would get that feeling in my body. But you could say that the base of my meditation was the feeling that I felt when I had the channeling session with Arjun. The base feeling was that everything was like building from it. And so after that, well, my body started to move on those, but it was actually pretty fast. I didn't expect that. It was like the third time I tried meditating, and I was getting really clear answers. My body was moving by itself, but I couldn't really accept it at first, because I thought maybe this is because I made the channeling session and I'm making this up in some sense, you know. I started to get a little insecure about it. But yes, well, I decided to try it and to talk to. I talked about it with one of my closest friends and my family, because I felt like I needed to share this, in a sense, because a part of me felt like I might be going crazy. And so I needed a support in that sense, a little bit, like someone to confirm me that I was not getting crazy. And they were really, really supporting. My mother told me, my mother doesn't really understand this idea of channeling an ET being, you could say. She associates it with an angel or an energy on those frequencies, you could say. But she accepted it, and she told me, if you feel that it's a loving energy, and I really felt like it was really, really loving energy, then it's okay, you can try it. You're not doing harm to anyone, so it's a gift. You can think of it as a gift. And that really was, I never expected her to say that, in a sense, because I was expecting maybe, you know, we made these weird stories in our heads sometimes. More, we imagine harsher things happening sometimes.
Yes.
And we don't really expect other people to understand us, but they really do. They really try their best, because they love us, so they support us.
Yes, I think that's a great answer from your mother. Yes, that she is so that she's so sensible and give you this yes this
The feedback.
yes this feedback yes this feedback.
Yes.
Great, wonderful. I think the most mothers
Yes.
would not say something like this. Yeah,
Yes.
and you channel Hylah, and Hylah is a being from the Yahyel race, and
Yes, from the eye.
yes, and I've seen on your channel, and now you painted a picture how she looks like.
Yes.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yes. It was some kind. I had this inspiration from a few weeks ago that because I also, in a sense, have some blocks, you can say, within myself. I can't really see these beings clearly, and so the way to see it in a rational point of view is to try and make the puzzle pieces go together while drawing, because it's like I can get my head out of the way, and
Yes.
so I can see while I'm drawing if the feeling is telling me I'm going in the right way or the, well, not so right. Not exactly the wrong. But it
Great.
was really interesting, and I've been having some more different nudges in that direction about their characteristics. It's getting a little more detailed.
Yes, it's a great painting. I like it very much, and she looks very beautiful.
Yes, they're really human-like.
Yes, yes. I think you said that the race, the Yahyel race, is near to the human genetic or something like this.
Yes, because they're an hybrid race between us and the Greys. You know, the Greys. Maybe we should say what the Greys are. The Greys are those beings that we usually see on TV shows and
Ah,
popular media. In a sense, they're
yes,
those small gray beings with the big black eyes and a small chin.
yes.
And so Greys, they are, in a very short version, the Greys, as I understand it, they are an alternate reality version of us. They're a future version of us,
Really?
where yes, and where their planet, they took their technology to an extent that they destroyed, in a sense, their planet, and so to survive they had to mutate themselves, and by doing that they lost the ability to reproduce, to continue their species. And so what they're, in a sense, doing here with us, we have like a soul agreement with them, you could say, a higher
Ah,
consciousness agreement
agreement.
to
Okay.
help us. Yes, to help them continue their species. And so the hybrids, in a sense, are their children and ours. But
Ah,
this is a little confusing because it's mixing a lot of times, you could say, because they're from the future and the hybrids, in the sense, are also from the future. But here the thing is that there isn't exactly a past or a future. There is only the now moment, and that's why we can connect with them. So the Yahyel are the fifth hybrid race. So there are four more before that. So, and they are the ones that have the most human DNA. They have more percentage of human DNA than the gray DNA. And that's why they look so much like us.
okay.
This is a start. short version of it.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we will later connect to Hylah, and maybe she can also tell us a little bit about this. And
Yes.
something I just thought about is when you channel Hylah, I understand, and in this moment you don't realize what she speaks, maybe. You have to record it, or if you are alone, or
Yes, I can remember bits and pieces in a sense,
yes,
but I have to really try and think about what we talked. It's easier if we record.
yes, and give is Hylah gives she you messages during your day also, if you're doing something, and then she gives you maybe some input like this.
Yes, yes, it happens usually when I'm doing something that it's in a sense occupying me, but it's occupying my mind, but it's leaving the other channels open. So, for example, it happens a lot when I'm cleaning the dishes in my kitchen. It happens a lot. And it's like instant downloads of information. So, for example, I've been wondering about their characteristics, their physical appearance. And so I've been having some information downloaded from time to time while I'm doing those tasks in a sense, or while I'm drawing, because it's like you get into a relaxed state. You're not really expecting any kind of answer about anything, so it in a sense clears the path for them to give me information and for me to perceive it.
Yes.
But I'm only recently starting to see the difference between their information and my rest, because it's usually very different from what I'm used to. It's a different kind of information. It's very instant and very compact. It's like you have to unfold it.
Okay.
In a sense.
Okay.
Yes, like a present.
Yes, yes, yes. I think I understand what you mean. Yes. Another way of getting, or yes, I think I understand what you mean. Yes. Yes.
I can try to explain it a little better if you want me. So it's like, because this is it's really a feeling in a sense, and with that feeling, it's like you know you're receiving something, and when you try and tune in into that feeling, you start to have pictures in your mind in a sense, and it's like automatically you can see the connections between that particular subject. It's like you have a PDF download in directly to your brain.
Okay.
You receive a document, you double click it, and it's much huger than you would expect. It can take you hours to read it, but you receive it like in a simple file.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
And you can understand then, or I think maybe for my understanding, it's not so easy to understand how to unfold it then in the right way. Yes.
Yes. It's really automatic.
Okay.
I don't really do anything. I just am in a relaxed state doing something while I receive it. I don't have any expectation, and I don't exactly do anything. I'm just living my life. And then this information comes.
Yes, but you first you first uh, um, uh, um, send intention. You first send an intention, a question about something, and then you do something, and then the answer comes, or without
Yes, but
intention.
the intention is in a sense there,
Yes.
but it's usually I set that intention or that question. I start wondering by myself, what do they look like, for example?
Yes.
And I start to get those answers, but it's not exactly on that moment. I start to get in the weeks after, usually.
Mm-hmm.
A little piece here while I'm washing the dishes, a little piece there while I'm drawing,
Yes.
another piece while I'm taking a walk. And it starts just to come as I'm ready to receive it, because this is also a little bit related to when it's the perfect time for us to receive the information.
Yes. Yes, I think that's a great description of this, and I think we all get those informations. If we,
Yes,
yes,
definitely.
yes, yes, if we send the intention and then wait, and we will get the answers in
Yes,
different ways. Yes, yes, thank you very
yes.
much.
Because also from what I understand, it's not exactly the problem isn't receiving the answer, because they're always answering. It's our receptivity to get the answer, to notice that they are answering us.
Yes,
Because most of the times they also answer to our physical environment, for example, little synchronicities that start popping in our life.
yes, yes. Another question I have, do you have any, I think you have a special connection to Hylah, maybe in other incarnations or something like this. Do you know anything about your special connection?
Yes, from what I understand, she's a future life.
Ah,
Because as we talked, everything is here and now, so she can connect because we're all coexisting at the same time, in a sense.
yes.
That's why we can connect. But she is well, a different kind of human. She's an hybrid from you could say a future life. I'll probably die someday and I'll become her, in a sense. Well, I'll never become her, but we're we're both the same soul, in a sense.
Yes, yes,
It's a
yes.
little different,
Very
but
interesting.
it's almost that.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Another life in a multi-dimensional way, something like this.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because they're really functioning in different dimension from ours also. And so they have a really physical sense of how also time works, and how they can, it's almost like they can see time, in a sense. And
Ah,
so it's really easy for them also to connect with past versions of them.
yes, yes.
And and they're much more intuitive and in tune with themselves and with nature. And so that also makes everything much easier.
Yes, okay. They also have their
Yeah.
nature, but maybe we can Hyla ask later. But do you know something about where they live?
Where they live?
Yes.
Yes, that's also a question that I've been receiving answers here and there. I know they have a physical planet, and it's near the our solar system. Don't know exactly where, but I've been having some specifically clear images about a really big spaceship, in a sense.
Yes.
It's like a spaceship that is very similar to a planet. So it's like an artificial planet.
Yes.
Where they live, and they live there and in a physical planet. But it's only in their spaceship, you could say, in that big spaceship, that they have cities similar to ours, but very much connected to nature. They're very, you could say it's like a biological city, a living city. It's very like, it's simulating trees, and it's like a natural landscape, but fused with the technological part.
Ah, yeah.
It's like a big garden.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Maybe they have done this connection between nature and technology, and yes, yes. Maybe we will
Yes,
there in our future sometime. Yes, in that way. But I think yes, they are, because from our future, Hylah, and so
yes, they're another, you could say the grays are one path and they are another path, in a sense.
Okay.
If we connect to ourselves, and if we allow ourselves to be more open and to follow our highest excitement, we're going to follow naturally a path that it's more similar to theirs. Yes, and if we start closing ourselves and be really rational and thinking that we have no control in our life and all of those, well, negative thinking patterns, in a sense, we start getting into a fear-based reality, and so we'll get a future more similar to the grays.
Yes, very interesting. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you.
Is there something you want to share before we connect with Hylah?
What to share? Well, first of all, I want to thank you again for inviting me to talk to you. I really appreciate it. But well, I would like to share that I'm still a really newbie in this. I'm still practicing, so sometimes the messages may seem a little confusing in the way I deliver them, because as I said, it's like you get a PDF document with all this information and you have to start organizing it really quickly. And so in the sense, that's the challenge I have while channeling. Sometimes I may start in the beginning of the document and go to the end, and then go to the middle. So I'm sorry if the message sometimes is a little unclear. I realize that this is, we are a team here, so we are always communicating, me and her, and
Yes.
It's a learning process for both of us. But I hope that the message is clear for you and for whoever is listening.
Yes, it's wonderful what you're channeling, and you bring it in your videos on YouTube. I love it. It's great, and it's yes, it's wonderful that you share these informations with us. Yes, and you also do personal readings. You do personal channelings if somebody has
Yes.
wants to do something. He
Yes.
can connect you.
I have a yes. I made a website, a really simple website, just for people who feel the need to connect or want to try it. They can go there. I think it's connectingwithhylah.weebly.com. But there's a little place there for you to mark a session, in a sense, and to get in touch with me, so we can have a session day, so we can mark an appointment.
Yes, yes, we
This
can.
almost seems like a doctor thing.
Yes, we can link it under the video. And I also had a session with Hylah, and it was really great, really great. And I have recorded it, and sometimes I listen it again, and I feel there is something beginning, starting to work in me, this energy, and this is wonderful. It's I think
Yeah, that's amazing.
it's great. It's bigger than only the words, only the understanding. It's in different dimensions. We get,
Yes, exactly.
yes, the answers. And
Like you're getting the answers in a lot of different stages, different
yes,
dimensions. Yes.
yes, yes, it's wonderful. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
So thank you,
Thank
Eva,
you.
for these informations you share with us, and maybe we will now, yes, connect to Hylah. You will then to Hylah, okay? Um,
Yes.
okay, we will do part 2 of the video, and yes, and good. Thank you very much, and
Thank you.
Eva.